Right, let's kick off on the home front where season 2020 in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League could be delayed after His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa declared that COVID-19, or popularly known as coronavirus, is a national disaster. The campaign is expected to start in the coming weeks once the league and the main sponsors, Delta Beverages, have completed the signing of a new deal, but the commencement is now likely to be put on hold after the government has banned all public events and gatherings of more than 100 people until further notice. Now, earlier today, the Zimbabwe Football Association had advised the Premier Soccer League that all Harare venues are not eligible to host the upcoming league season due to their poor state. Harare has National Sports Stadium, Rufaro and Gwanzura as the main stadiums, but they have all failed the initial inspection. Alois Bunjira, our football pundit, is in studio, a man, of course, with a keen knowledge on the game as it's played here in Zimbabwe. Umdlalo wetu, mutambo wedu, and of course, Bunj always delivers. Alois, that announcement by the president working in tandem with, of course, the news that there are no stadiums in Harare, it will buy those venues a bit of time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a bit of time. We spoke about it as well, and it's for me, I think there are a lot of things that were going. Even if there was no corona, the league, I don't think, was going to be starting anytime soon.
Why do you say that?
You know, because there's no fixture. There's been nothing to suggest that this league.
But they always release the fixtures literally, I think, a week or two before the games always start.
There's been a lot of issues. The stadium issue is the other one, and then we have got the rentals issue as well. That I don't see it happening anytime soon. But anyway,
they say that's going to be resolved by Friday, I think it is.
Yeah.
That they'll have the judgment on the appeal.
Only if rentals win the appeal, win the case. Because if rentals doesn't win the case, I don't see it ending there. So yeah, but now we have a situation.
But what other recourse would Herentals have? Because Herentals have come out and said that they're not going to take it to the courts of law.
Yep.
That they're going to have it play out in the football sphere. So this is their appeal. They've already made an appeal. So if the ruling is made on the appeal, what are the recourse do they have?
If we take their word, yes, but they've got it's their right to take it.
However, any challenge in the courts of law doesn't put a stay of execution on the judgment that was given in the football courts. In essence, they'll be out of the league. They can fight it and then maybe win it later on and possibly get reinstated.
But they'll be out of the league.
But they'll be out of the league, and the fixture can be published without them.
You think so?
Yes, in the courts of law.
Yeah, in the courts of law. That's how it works.
You think the courts don't stop the league? They can't. They can't. So what's the purpose of them going to CAS when the league is going on? If they win the case, then what happens with the league that is going on?
As soon as the judgment from the appeals committee of the Premier Soccer League is handed down, that is the highest court of appeal in Zimbabwean football. Yes. Meaning that any other challenge that is made is going to then have to redo the process. In other words, if they go to the Court of Arbitration of Sport, it doesn't hold the judgment that was initially given in abeyance. The judgment holds and is executed.
Okay. And what happens if they win the case?
If they win, then they get reinstated and
the games that have been played, then the Rhinos get kicked out, and then
they then find out. They then find.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay, we'll find out more about that. But like we said, now we have a situation whereby we have these stadiums that are not fit. But the surprising point is that we have got other stadiums like Vengere Stadium being homologated ahead of the National Sports Stadium, ahead of Ruvaro Stadium, and it brings a lot of questions to the issue, like what exactly is being used, what's the criteria, then you start thinking it's deliberate, probably to push an agenda. I don't know, because I'm telling you, I've been to Vengere Stadium. There's no way. I don't know why football is being played there.
But I think isn't work being done? Because I think Rusape City Council has been working at Vengere, so they've done some improvements, just like Sakuva as well. They've done some improvements, so maybe we wait to see. But I totally understand what Alois is saying, that if you then can homologate a stadium like Vengere, even if refurbished, or Sakuva, even if refurbished, and then you tell us that the National Sports Stadium is not a facility that can host Premier League matches, then questions have to be asked. That
Yeah.
you know what is so wrong with the National Sports Stadium that you can't host Premier League matches?
It's a real struggle because you look at that list, the ones that have been authorized and approved: Barberfields, Luveve, Gibo, Vengere, Zishane, that's Mandava, and Baobab Stadium in Mondoro. Not there, Sakuva, which we understand has been having some phenomenal work done, which was reaching its near completion about a week ago. Also not there, Ascot in the Midlands. So in truth, this, I agree with you, Bunch. It smells funny.
When you say phenomenal work,
Yeah.
I mean, do we know exactly what has been done? I'm listening
At
to
Sakuva.
Bunja. At Sakuva, at all of these stadiums.
Yeah.
I'm listening to Bunja, and he's not sure on a couple of these stadiums, and I sort of agree with him that. What are they actually doing?
I think
are they
Sakuva,
painting?
they've done very well to disseminate information, and some of the journos out in Mutare, I think, have done a phenomenal job of actually showing visually what's going on at the stadium. They've worked on the perimeter fences, they worked on the changing rooms, they're working on the tunnels, they worked on the field of play itself. And I think with Sakuva, it's not about bringing it up to CAF standards. It's about making sure that it can host our local Premier League matches.
Games, exactly.
That's what they are gunning for.
And in truth, for me, Sakuva wasn't far off already. And
it has always been
it's
that close.
It's always been very close, and if they've done work on it, I would be very interested to hear why the ZiFA first instance body decided that it wasn't fit for play.
Okay, let's get to hear from you as well. 0731 168 045. That's our WhatsApp number, 0731 168 045. Get in touch with us. You can also follow and interact with us at ZiFM Sport. That's on Twitter. Now, guys, just very briefly, the announcement made by the president. Now, that's 60 days, okay? The ban, that's 2 months. Is it 2 months that we have in terms of football? What does it mean? Does it mean that the league is going to be pushed to a point where we might have to play through the months of December and January, which are traditionally our wettest months in Zimbabwe, and possibly even February? Do we have fields that have the drainage? Because the one season where we tried to play during those months, 1998, 1999, which Highlanders won the first of the 4 league titles, it was an absolute shambles that season in terms of how the drainage at some of these stadiums worked out.
It's going to be difficult, Mike. Maybe we might just say right off the season for me, because we've already lost 3-4 months now. We are already in April in 2 weeks' time. So I think we can write it off, or else we can just say, you know what, if we want to salvage this, we play 1 game each.
Yeah, that's a suggestion, because writing off, I don't think writing off is an option, because sponsor obligations. They're also the clubs themselves. They want to be twiddling their fingers for 12 months.
In my view, I reckon that let's say if the league was going to kick off at the outer extremities and in the first weekend of April, we'll still be able to conclude it by about the early part of December. So let's say
first
the 2
week
weeks
of April, Barry. You're being liberal. We might be in the throes now of COVID-19.
I'm saying if we were going to kick off at the latest possible time, we would have kicked off in the first week of April. So that gives us 2 weeks now. So then if we work 2 months, we then say minus the 2 weeks, that means we're losing about 6 weeks if we kick off at the time of the 2 months running out, the 60 days. So we kick off then, we've lost 6 weeks. We can make up 6 weeks of football with midweek encounters as we go. What it's going to remove definitely is the 2 week break in the mid-season when we have the mid-season window open. That we can't have anymore. We have to laugh that off. That means that we've got 4 weeks to fill, in truth. And can we find 4 match days in midweek during a season?
No, but Barry, but you're not putting in place the CAF dates. There's going to be CAF football action.
100%.
There's going to be Champions League football. There are going to be AFCON
also
qualifiers
with backlogs as well.
that are going to have to be put in place as well. World Cup qualifiers are going to return. Not everyone is going to be holding their programs in abeyance for the local league to take place.
Agreed.
So it's not just a matter of making up 4 weeks.
We've got to possibly, in the time that we have, obviously under 100 people need to get into a room and have a conversation around scheduling, because I had missed that part, and I believe that we all have to caucus as a football family and slot everything in, and I believe it can be done.